Maggie Nix wiped her hands on a rag. The scent of coffee and pastries filling the small cafe where she worked evenings to support her scholarship. The late shift was usually quiet. A brief escape from the chaos of school and Raven Maddox. Until she heard the bell above the door jingle. She glanced up and froze. Raven Maddox. And behind him, Xander, KIO, and Drew. "Evening, Maggie," Raven said casually. As if dropping in on the richest cafe in the city was perfectly normal. Maggie's hands tightened around the rag. What are you doing here?" Raven's eyes glinted with mischief. "Thought I'd see where you disappear when you're not at school." Xander leaned against the counter, smirking. "Bro, this is gold. She actually works for a living." KO whistled. "Cute little cafe. Not exactly Maddox standards, huh?" Drew chuckled. "This is going to be fun." Maggie gritted her teeth. "I'm working. Please leave." "Relax," Raven said, stepping closer, dangerously close. "We're just visiting." He rested his hand lightly on the counter. The smell of his cologne sharp and intoxicating. Maggie's pulse quickened. And she gritted her teeth to focus. "Raven, you can't just what?" He interrupted, voice low. "Come to see the girl who challenges me?" "You're disturbing my workplace," she snapped. He smirked, leaning even closer. "Good, you're sharp even off school grounds." The group sauntered through the cafe, eyeing the customers and tables with amusement. Xander plopped into a chair at a table. Smirking at a nervous customer. "We'll just hang out here." KO ordered an espresso, leaning against the counter, his grin predatory. "It smells nice. Almost makes me want to stay." Drew wandered near the pastry display, raising an eyebrow at Maggie. "Busy little worker bee, huh?" Maggie slammed her hand down on the counter. "I'm not here to entertain you." "Leave!" Raven's eyes narrowed. He enjoyed her fire, the defiance in her tone, the way she refused to submit even now. "Or what, Maggie?" He murmured, stepping so close she could feel his heat. "You'll throw a coffee at me?" Maggie's heart thumped, but she refused to look afraid. "I don't need to throw anything." "You're already out of control." Raven smirked. "Out of control? Perhaps. But you intrigue me. Dangerous, fearless, reckless." Her hands shook slightly as she tried to maintain composure. "I work to survive, not to be played with. And yet here we are," Raven said softly, leaning even closer. "I think you secretly enjoy this." Maggie's cheeks burned. She wanted to deny it. She wanted to hate him. But his eyes, they bore into her, intense, cold, magnetic. "You've crossed a line," she said, trying to sound stern. "You and your friends are not welcome here." Raven's lips curved. "Crossed a line?" His voice dropped. "I don't think you understand the game, Maggie. You don't get to set the rules, I do." The cafe fell quiet. Even the customers sensed the storm brewing. Maggie stood her ground, chest rising and falling. "I don't care. Leave or I'll call the manager." Raven's smirk softened. Just slightly, almost imperceptibly. "Call him," he whispered. "I like watching you fight." Maggie's pulse raced as adrenaline and frustration coursed through her. The boundary between them was razor thin. He was here to taunt her, to test her, to push her limits, and for reasons she refused to admit, part of her wanted him to stay. Because with Raven Maddox, danger was intoxicating. And Maggie Nix was no stranger to fire. Maggie barely slept after last night's chaos. Raven Maddox and his entire crew showing up at her workplace? Uninvited. Unbothered. Unstoppable. Her heart still raced whenever she replayed the scene in her head. The arrogant smirks, the mocking comments. Raven leaning in close like he owned the air between them. And today? She wasn't taking chances. Mina and Lacey insisted on coming with her to the cafe. Maggie didn't argue. "You should have called us," Lacey said as they walked inside. "We would have thrown Xander out the window," Mina added calmly. Maggie laughed weakly. "Look, let's just get through this shift. Please." They tied their aprons, set up tables, adjusted chairs, and tried to pretend everything was normal. But at 5:47 p.m., the bell above the cafe door chimed. Maggie stiffened. Mina froze. Lacey almost dropped her tray. Raven Maddox walked in, followed by Xander, KIO, and Drew, exactly like last night. "Oh my God," Lacey whispered. "They came BACK?" Mina muttered, "Are they jobless? Why are rich people so free?" Raven's eyes immediately locked on Maggie. He didn't even glance at the others. "Evening, Maggie," he said, voice smooth like ice sliding across metal. "You ran away too fast yesterday." Maggie clenched her jaw. "I was working, Raven." He murmured, stepping closer to the counter. "Then keep working. We're here to watch." "Watch what?" Lacey snapped. Raven's eyes flicked toward her sharp cold. "A storm," he said simply. Xander sprawled across a booth like he owned the place. Ko started opening every sugar packet just to annoy Lacey. Drew kept tapping the pastry display glass like a 5-year-old. Mina approached them with a tray. "Please stop touching everything," she said politely. "No," Xander replied, grinning. Meanwhile, Raven approached Maggie again, leaning against the counter like last night's war had never ended. "You look tired," Raven said. "Because someone made my shift hell," Maggie snapped. Raven smirked. "I enjoyed it." Lacey walked over, arms crossed. "Well, we didn't. Leave her alone." Mina appeared beside her. "Seriously. This cafe has rules." Raven turned toward them, slowly measuring, calculating. "You two are very protective," he observed. "Someone has to be," Lacey shot back. "Especially when someone rich and bored shows up," Mina added. For a moment, Raven didn't react. Then, a different expression flickered through his eyes. Not annoyance. Not anger. Interest. "You're good friends," he said softly. "But friendship doesn't win battles." Maggie grabbed the order pad and slammed it onto the counter. "Fine. You want to stay? Then you're customers. Sit down. Order something. Behave like normal humans or get out." Raven raised an eyebrow. "You're giving me orders?" "Yes." Maggie stepped closer, her voice low but steady. "This is my territory." A slow, dangerous smirk spread across his lips. "Territory," he repeated. "Cute." Xander clapped once. "Bro, she's serious." Ko laughed. "I like her confidence." Drew shook his head. "This girl really has no fear." Raven leaned in so close Maggie felt the heat of his breath. "You're brave," he murmured. "Bravery gets people hurt." Maggie's eyes didn't waver. "Only if they back down," she whispered. Something flickered in Raven's gaze. Heat. Confusion. Admiration. But before he could respond, Mina accidentally bumped Lacey's tray, sending 3 drinks splashing onto Xander and Ko. Both girls froze. Maggie covered her mouth. Xander stood dripping iced mocha. Did you just... Ko wiped his shirt. "Oh, this is war." Mina whispered, "Oops." Lacey whispered louder, "Oops." Raven's eyes darkened, then softened. He looked at Maggie. "You really don't play fair, do you?" Maggie smirked her first real victory. "Welcome to my world."